This one is actually from Relationship Advice and is titled, "Wealthy partner keeps going on vacations with his female friends without me and says that I'm spoiled for being uncomfortable." Doesn't sound sus at all, huh? Not a bit. My wealthy partner, 33 male, keeps going on vacations with his female friends without me, 28 female, and says that I'm spoiled for being uncomfortable. My partner's of 4 years father was very wealthy, consequently making his entire family financially well off and privileged. However, his father had very patriarchal views, and as a result, my partner, only son, was literally given free range of his father's finances and the tremendous benefits that come with it, while his mother and 7 younger sisters were completely excluded. Go ahead and do that. Surprisingly, he's well aware of this dynamic and doesn't care because it worked well for his family. I see a lot of potential in my partner, and I know deep down he's an amazing person who has the capacity for good. He's just been brainwashed by his father's toxic views. Obviously, it's not going to be easy to break, but since his father's death last year, he has made a lot of progress, and it's another motivating factor to stay with him. Though I must admit, all of this motivation is on the verge of being shattered recently, and I'll explain why. Basically, due to my partner's wealth, he gets a lot of attention from the opposite sex since he likes to flash it. Another thing I've been working on. He has acquired a group of 4 women, ages 27, 24, 22, 21, who he claims are purely friends since he grew up around 7 sisters and just naturally gravitates towards female energy. If he didn't have 7 sisters, I wouldn't have believed him to begin with, but since he grew up with a total of 8 women in his house, mom and 7 sisters, I did. We'll go ahead and fly some more of these. For the way this was stated, he has acquired a group of 4 women. Last year, we all went on a vacation together, and I was uncomfortable the entire time. He then complained that I ruined the mood and said that he wouldn't take them on vacations with me. Great, I thought. What this actually meant was that he started going on vacations with them and excluded me from going. He says he'll make it up to me by taking me places I really want to go with just him and I, but until then I need to just trust his character while he goes on vacation with his friends. They all got back from their second vacation this year on Sunday, July 2nd, and I couldn't withstand it any further. I explained to him in tears that these vacations make me incredibly anxious and I don't feel comfortable with them. He became upset and told me that I was just acting spoiled and he's disappointed in me for not being able to trust him. I do trust him, I just know things can happen. Ever since our conversation, he's refused to talk to me and must be telling his friends about our conversation because 2 of them have texted me calling me names and are telling me how much of a leech I am. This is quickly getting out of hand. What do I need to do to get this situation under control? So my big question here to OP is, would you have taken on a project, a fixer-upper, if he wasn't rich? Because most people know taking on a fixer-upper or choosing someone thinking, oh, if I could just change this or this, they'd be great, they'd be perfect. That's not the reason to be with someone. I'm wondering if the enormous amount of money attached to him is what made her think, oh, well, it's worth trying because of XYZ, or in this case, just $. But being with someone with the goal of changing them is obviously not the right reason to be with them. I wish we had some more context about what made her uncomfortable on that trip that they all went on together. She was uncomfortable, and that's where it stops. We don't know any more information than that. But this guy flying around like a playboy, flaunting his money with 4 women in their 20s as his entourage, yeah, that obviously looks bad. That's obviously not a good look. And if he cared, really cared about how she felt, he wouldn't do things that made her uncomfortable. But he doesn't care. He's been given free range. He came from a family that just shunned all of the women in the family, and he's got everything that family had right now. So he's rocking the Playboy style with his entourage of women that he clearly was raised to not have enough respect for. You cannot change that. OP said in here that he grew up being exposed to his father's toxic patriarchal views. What makes her think that in a matter of months or a few years or whatever amount of time that she's willing to invest here, that she's going to be able to undo a life of being trained to think and act a certain way. And also, his ability to adhere to that way of thinking has paid off really well for him. So for him to start changing his way of thinking could potentially risk his lifestyle too, because if he starts respecting women, then he's got to look at the 8 other women in his family and say, oh, all of this wealth equally belongs to you as well. He's not going to give that up. You can't be with someone with the goal of changing them. It just doesn't work. It's a disservice to both of you. Now, the question here was, well, there isn't a question. It's just a relationship advice. Wealthy partner keeps going on vacations with his female friends without me and says that I'm spoiled for being uncomfortable. Now, the whole spoiled comment here, I think is really, it's a really funny projection, because this dude has obviously been spoiled rotten his entire life. And even now, whenever somebody has a problem with something that he's doing, he's still going to get his way. He just calls someone else spoiled for not being okay with him getting his way. So, OP, this is doomed. This is not going to work well. You guys may actually love each other, but you can't change someone, especially at the core of who they are and who they were raised to be. Maybe not without an infinite amount of patience and time. Like, are you willing to invest the rest of your life on the potential you could maybe change the way that he views the world? I don't think it's a smart move. I don't think it's a smart move at all.